So coming to a comfortable seat so that your spine is tall and upright, and you can close down your eyes. Just being sure that you feel that your shoulders rest over top of your hips, and that your spine is tall. That is key right now. And then just come to notice the rhythm of your breath as it moves in and out. Of your body. Let's draw in a few deep breaths. So breathing in fully, deeply. And all the way out, completely empty. Another big breath in. And all the way out, empty. So before we start the practice, coming to think of intention or sankalpa, something like a positive affirmation, an I am affirmation. Drop it like a seed in the still point of your body, wherever that feels appropriate for you. When you're ready, you can keep your eyes closed or you can open them. You're just going to push your bolster from underneath your hips, just behind you. And you're going to hold the front of your knees and start to move your spine. So exhale, pull your tailbone forward and up, drop your head. And inhale, elbows draw back as your chest lifts up. And then rocking. So it's a very slow sort of rock and roll of the hips. Feeling your entire spine as you do this. And just sinking into this slow movement. And as you embrace the slowness, you also step into the arena of observation. So to be completely mindful of every micro movement. And taking the position just to watch and observe. As you move your entire spine, what are the added sensations that come along with the flexion? And then finish your next exhale. And then when you come up, you're going to take a circular motion now. So you're going to go in a counterclockwise position. And when you inhale and come forward, you draw your chest up. And when you exhale, you round your spine and just moving in one direction. It might feel good to go a little bit quicker, or it might feel appropriate to go like so insanely slow. Slow movement, mindful movement, and then turn the direction, go the other way. So rolling one direction, then the other. Just a couple more here. All right, and then come back to a neutral position and take one of your shins in front. So not quite crisscrossing the legs, but one shin is in front. Take your heart over top of the front shin, the knee of that shin, and just start to drop your heart over top of the knee. And as you lean into that, you can maybe grab your bolster or a block and place it under your forehead, but you're going to allow yourself just to be here for an extended period, longer than 5 breaths or so. The first chance to really drop in here. And in the practice of yin, we move into the deeper tissues. In the practice of yin, you go beyond the muscles, beyond the skin and the outer tissues, and you dive into the bones and the physical structure of your body. Physical structure of your unique, one-of-a-kind body. Now for this side, for this part that you are moving into, allow your mind to travel through not only your low back, your hip, or your legs, but as you breathe and as you deepen your breath, allow yourself to almost pull the breath to circulate throughout all of your limbs. Let your mind notice what it's like to feel your fingertips in this pose where you may not have any sensation from this compression. The areas that you scan through and notice that might be a little bit more rigid, see if you can gently massage these areas with your mind. Massage your neck with your mind. Touch your ears, the top of your head. Move in through your ears and wrap around to the front of your throat. Notice if you feel compression in your throat or any stagnancy as you breathe. And so you become aware. You become aware of how elements move throughout your body. Take the seat of the observer so that you can become aware. Shine a spotlight and ultimately create shifts in your energy body, and it trickles into the physical. This is a physical practice. 2 more breaths where you hear. and then help yourself to come back up and just put your bolster off to the side. Now, taking your feet out in front of you, have your feet wider than hip distance apart, and just let your knees fall to one side and to the other. Just do that a few times. And with your feet wide, next time that your knees fall to the left, you're gonna just stay there. Then come up and start turning to the left side. And we're actually not gonna be here long, so you're just gonna come all the way down to the floor. And maybe for a second, you look over to the left. Experience an inhalation and an exhalation. And then pressing yourself back up, turning around to the front. And your left leg is going to come forward and your right knee is going to come to the floor. All right, so keep your foot close to your left hip, and you can have your right knee straight out in front of you. Grab your bolster. Two options would be to place the bolster underneath of your hips and just lean back, underneath especially the left hip. But if you feel that your hips easily sit on the floor, you might take your bolster and put it further back behind you. Eventually, for your spine to drop down on the bolster and your shoulders relax. So from here, I would suggest that the left leg is straight. That with every single breath, you're allowing the right leg just to become soft, or maybe even more heavy, actually, like heavier to the floor. There's sometimes this resistance and pulling away. And if you allow yourself to have full surrender into a pose, there's like a heaviness, there's a dropping in, and there's a releasing of the resistance. So making sure that it is possible to breathe through any tension that you have. Many times people with ankle issues would feel this more on the front of their right ankle than possibly the front of the right hip. And so if that's the case for you, just make sure that you can breathe through the tension. So being able, that's really the gauge, is noticing at what point can I not breathe, or it's messing up my breathing. Then you need to kind of reassess your position. But the times where you're challenged to really stay still, to really drop in, those are the opportunities for the greatest shift. And so just having a moment to really just stare at yourself. And so without the interaction with any other person, you get the opportunity to see yourself, to visualize your three-dimensional shape, your duality, and within that duality is a positive and negative charge, always. So the action of going out into the world and being able to experience the world in a way where Mirrors are held up by other people, and we get to see ourselves in a way maybe that we manifest or crave. But in the practice of yin, it's all you. You get to observe without anybody giving you praise or patting you on the back or getting triggered. You get to do it all within yourself. So I strongly recommend that as you journey through your tissues, that you continue to remind yourself the potency which lies within you and how all the secrets are really locked within, truly. It's a brave practice to be able to look at yourself without validation. Just watch, observe, and experience and feel it all. Your physical structure is where you might experience most of the feeling. And the next layer beyond that becomes the emotional body. And in the emotional body is really so much of your connection with your soul. And so in this inward practice, seeing how it works for you to navigate from the physical to the emotional, and then possibly pass that into the light body, the spirit, the ka. Just a couple more breaths here. Completely release that next exhale and go ahead, press yourself up. When you come up, straighten out your right leg in front of you. Give it a little shake for a moment. The blood flush back through, and then bend your knees, place your feet wide again. Drop your knees to the right, and now turn around to the right. And this is where you're going to stay for a little while. So you might keep your bolster there and drop your right ear down first. Starting point, and the next point would be looking over to the right. So something I would suggest that you watch is so amazing how this practice gives you the opportunity to see your patterns. And one thing that shows up often is that as humans in this world, really being able to watch and experience life and the subtleties is not super common. And so when we enter this practice, subtle feelings, like as you enter this pose, which can feel quite good, it's not really like you're you're fighting much, you can get yourself really comfortable. And then suddenly what happens is there's like a disregard for it really working, because of the comfort. But what I would suggest is that you dive into the subtle body and you take this opportunity for nurture. So everything is like an ebb and flow, and we don't always require the big shifts. And so that previous posture was maybe something that you were going to experience more, a stronger sensation, so a shift. This one might be very subtle, but its importance is no less. So I really suggest that for here in this more subtle posture, that you allow yourself to step into a position where you provide a nurturing, holistic, healing intention, thought, breath. And remembering that you may experience most of the sensation on the outside, your skin, your muscles, the fascia, that may be what you feel. Go in deeper though, because even in these subtle postures where you don't feel a lot of sensation, there can be so much happening internally. If you have the space, you want to look in the other direction, maybe to the right. You have just a few more breaths here. Envision your spine from the tail up to the thoracic and up to your neck. Right, and then slowly unravel yourself so that you come up to seated. And from here, just shake out your legs in front of you, just straight out in front for a moment. And then crossing up the legs again so that the other shin is in front. So whichever opposite direction that you went, Turn your heart over top of that other knee and allow yourself to come down. Putting a bolster, a block, or something underneath of your forehead, quite possibly, so that you can stay here. I'm going to notice how you hold your teeth and how your jaw feels. If you're clenching, so in your physical body are trillions of cells. And the concept that's come to mind here is that how you do one thing is how you do all things, and how the micro is really a display of the macro, the bigger. So there's a charge on every cell, positive and negative, and there's also a movement around every cell. And there's a direction in which this movement goes. So in order to establish what is that direction, see your whole body and feel what direction energetically there's movement. Does it feel like it's clockwise or counterclockwise? Notice the movement. Now, as we do this whole second side, I am going to give you an idea that you can take. So when you've established what direction that the energy is moving, I ask you to notice the still point in your body, that one spot that you dropped your intention in at the beginning. So you have that still point, and that will be the very center of your infinity knot. So the sacred geometry knot of the infinity symbol. Allow your center point to be the middle. Now, taking the direction in which your energy is moving in your mind, imagine that you start to move in a direction of an infinity sign. And your center point is the middle. Now, this infinity sign can move throughout. It can be encompassing your whole being, and it might work in an isolated area where you feel most sensation in your physical shape. And so if you work with that sacred geometry through these tissues and areas of your body, see what happens. See how it changes and shifts any of your experience, or if it does at all. Then imagine that your breath and the sounds of the bowls and any other sounds happening around you add to moving the energy. Assist in this geometric pattern. Allow your breath to assist in that as well. Breath is mindfully moving in and out of your body without resistance. Finish your exhalation and then go ahead and lift yourself up. Take your feet out in front of you. Shake your legs and then place your feet wide. Drop your knees to the right and to the left. Yeah, a couple times each side. Next time they drop to the right, come all the way around, turn, 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 only to drop down to experience a full breath in and out. And then coming back up, and you're going to take your left knee, bringing your foot in close to the hip, and your right leg is straight. So your bolster can go behind you, or it can go underneath of your right hip. Keeping your left heel in close to your the side of your body. And then if it's available for you to go back, to lay back, do so. With your right leg straight. And so you establish the position, the shape. And you commit to being here. Becoming aware of that infinity sign, symbol. And as you keep the center of that symbol in the still point of your body, the movement of this shape passes over the areas where you feel it the most. On your own way of doing this, And if that means that you don't do it, that's totally fine too. You can always take it further to where your inhale matches maybe looping around the one side and your exhale is the other side. This is your exploration of your inner environment. It's a physical practice to tend to your physical body. Physical experience is not too little, it's not too much, it's just right in this position. Some shapes, it's easy to push really hard. Sometimes it's easy to just back off completely. And there's no right or wrong way. So you do what feels best. Anything that comes out of my mouth is just a guide and a suggestion. For these next few breaths, see if you can linger in a longer exhale. Ask yourself if you're truly letting the earth below you hold you fully, or if you have resistance. And if the resistance is present, what can you do to release it? Mentally first, physical to follow. And complete your next breath. Your exhale happens fully and completely. yourself back up and straighten out your legs. You can lean back into your hands and just kick out your legs a little bit. And then lifting your knees and dropping your knees over to the left, turning over to the left, and this is where you can lay all the way down. A journey and exploration into the subtle body. Concept of weaving, energetically weaving your energy in the shape of an infinity sign, if that feels appropriate. your next breath fully. And then unravel yourself up to sit. When you're up, open up your legs wide. All right. I don't like that. That doesn't work for what we just did, actually. Sorry. Okay, so this is what I'll suggest instead. Bring your one leg over top of the other. And if you can keep your bottom leg bent, you can do that. Otherwise, straighten it out, straight out in front of you. Your bottom leg. So let's go with the left knee over top of the right knee to start. All right. So from here, just settle your hips down to the floor and just ensure that they are weighted down. Take another breath here, just a breath in. And all the way out. And you might want to take your bolster to the left side of you. So you can take your left arm on your bolster or the floor. And then your right arm is just going to sort of make its way up and over to eventually rest your arm on top of your head. Now you can make a little fist with your left hand and place it under your head. Close your eyes. As much as you need to make a little shelf underneath your left side, that is wonderful. Whatever works for you to be here. Now, what are the sensations on inhale versus exhale? Go inward. Just diving into one more breath here. Just come up. When you come up, you're just gonna go into straight the other side. So right leg comes over top of the left. Take a moment with your hands on the floor to just settle into your hips. Let your exhale be like the anchor in your hips. And then placing your blocks bolster on the right side of you, where you drop your elbow first. And then eventually this left arm makes its way over top of your head. As you journey from one side of the body to the other, it can be a completely different experience. So observing, what is this like for you? this side. Being intentional with your breath. Intentionally noticing the inhale versus the exhale. Complete your next exhale. And then helping yourself to come upright. You can straighten out your legs first for a moment. And you're going to take your feet together. You can put your bolster between your legs. Your feet are together in front of you, quite a ways in front. It doesn't have to be close to your groin. And think about inching your hip bones back behind you. And then allow yourself to just drape over top of your legs. Organize your bolster or blocks to the appropriate height. You can look straight down, resting your forehead on the bolster. Or you can look to one side or the other. If you are looking to one side, I'll cue you to look the other way when we're at the halfway point. See if you can take yourself right to your edge right away here. Either taking that concept of weaving the infinity symbol, or just anchoring your mind and your body into this very present moment. You don't always have to hold these postures a long time for it to positively affect your tissues, for it to work. Look the other way if you are looking in one direction. Longer breaths. Even your exhale can be longer than your inhale. And then complete that Exhalation. Come to sit up, to lie back. Take your bolster and place it underneath of your pelvis as you lift your legs up towards the sky. Legs up, arms up even for a moment. So sometimes we really need to be inverted. It's like our body needs it so much. So ask your body if this is truly medicine for you, and if it is, maybe stay here. Stay here for a while. The next posture is going to be Shavasana. So you can even stay like this in Shavasana as long as you come to lay completely flat for maybe 5 seconds, 10 seconds after. So ask yourself, is this like a medicine shape for you? And if so, just stay here. And if you are craving Shavasana, place your bolster underneath of your knees and just let your legs relax down, your arms by your side. And just close your eyes. Wherever you are in the inversion or not, if you are in Shavasana, close your eyes. Just going to be here in Shavasana, and I'll guide you through with the sound of bowls. If you are fidgety and unable to fully relax, I encourage you to take your thumb and index finger to touch on both hands. Then move to the second finger, ring finger, and pinky finger, and just keep doing that on both of your hands. If you do not feel like you are present and able to be grounded fully, if you'd like to finish the class today with that infinity sign, do that here. start to wiggle your fingers and your toes, waking up your body, eventually lifting your knees, and just rolling onto your side. You can come up to a seated position. Gather your hands in front of your heart, and we'll just close the practice here, honoring the light within and all. Namaste. Namaste. Namaste.